builders up 7% from the lows last month. Chartmaster says the charts are setting up for an even bigger breakout for the group, and one Dow name in particular. So let's go straight to Carter. Break it down for us.
That's right. So a real laggard area of the market, down as much as 10-11% just a few weeks ago, and it has come to life. And the issue is there follow-through? I think there is. I'm in the camp that essentially rates are not really going higher. And so maybe let's start with that. This is a chart of 10-year yields over the past 12 months. And I think the key, well, let's just draw some lines. I think the key takeaway here is that after a well-defined bounce off trend, bounce off trend, bounce off trend, we have undercut, which you can quite clearly see, and then we've thrown back right to trend, and we started just, again, undercut. It's not the greatest circumstance. It has all the look of a topping out formation. So with that as maybe the backdrop, let's first talk about the home builder ETF XHB. This is a 5-year chart. You have this big run up over the past 2 years, and then this give back. Now, two things. This give back is quite proportionate in terms of the midpoint. And if I put that trend line on there in and of itself on the next chart, we can see that it bounced almost precisely off that line, which is what support is all about. And so let's focus in on this here and now. Again, that's the 5-year chart. Here is the here and now. So the run up and the plunge. If you just stuck with basic trend work, you could put the trend line in, and once you break trend, in principle, make the bet that it will continue. Now let's put the next trend line in. Once you move up above trend, in principle, make the bet that it will continue. So again, breaking trend to the downside is usually the beginning of more trouble. Breaking trend to the upside, prospectively, more potential. And something of a bearish to bullish reversal. So let's go to this big fella. Home Depot. No judgments by me, no annotations. I think you can draw a few things. One, these are the last 3 givebacks. They're all about 5 to 7 weeks, 14%, 10%, 18%. But not so much the magnitude of the declines, all 10% plus, but look where they stop. Each one almost precisely, well, not almost, exactly off a trend line. And so I think this is going to ultimately make the new high. I want to play Home Depot on the long side.
All right, so let's go out to Mike. How are you trading Home Depot, Mike?
Yeah, so I really do like Home Depot. You know, it's interesting. This is a name that's growing the top line probably about 7%, and we've seen EPS growth in the high teens for 3 consecutive years. And so the stock is not expensive. Neither are the options, and that means that we can actually keep our trade fairly simple here. I was just looking out to July, and you could buy the 200 calls when I was looking at this earlier today for $3.25. So that's just a little over 1.5% of the current stock price to make your bullish bet. And I think that with options prices this low and with the trend that Carter's identified and the fact that the stock is also, I think, very reasonably priced at these levels, it's easy to take a fairly simple bet, I think, to the upside here.
Dan, what do you think of the trade?
Well, listen, if you're in the fundamental camp and the technical camp and you like this stock for a breakout, I think the way Mike's choosing to play it with just a simple call, less than 2% of the underlying stock price, you have a little more than a month for this to work out. That makes perfect sense. But the most compelling chart that I saw there was that bullish to bearish, or excuse me, the bearish to bullish reversal in the XHB, which literally just had its first up day. And that would be the way that I would probably look to play it. And the options there are still pretty cheap too.
Right, and that's right. So it's a phenomenon. Remember, the XHB has a lot of things in it. Home Depot's not really a home builder. So the issue, right, there's Whirlpool, there's Mohawk Carpet, and so forth. So what I was thinking here is that while those are also coming to life, this is the big super cap name that big assets can play. Most of the home builders are mid cap, and a lot of large mutual funds cannot engage in small names like that at the biggest level.
Right, and how does the ITB look? Because that's also
it's
a nice run.
Yeah. Virtually identical. One is different weighting than the other, but they overlay at about a 95% correlation.
Mike, is there any caveats about the trade you're putting on?
Well, I mean, the one thing I would point out is that this doesn't happen to capture their earnings, which would be the next, sort of big and obvious catalyst to the upside. But that's also probably the reason why the options are as low priced as they are. And they are low priced. It's less than a 16% implied volatility, which is about as low as it ever gets in Home Depot. So when you take a look at whether now's the time to buy options in Home Depot, I think it is.
Are you looking for a better way to trade stocks and options? Are you tired of getting stock alerts after the opportunity is already gone? Do you wonder sometimes? Well, how's that others get in before the big action takes place? We know exactly how you feel. With our lightning fast options alert service, you will never have to wonder about this ever again. If you're ready for less work, less stress, and more life, we're introducing the 7 solutions that will take all the guesswork out of the equation. You will have all the necessary information within seconds right in front of your fingertips so you can make a great decision and take action on it fast. You will get the recommended cost of option at the time of entry so you would know what is a good price for the option and avoid paying too much. You will even have the suggested price target for the stock so you can have a point of reference to make a decision on when may be a good time to close your position. You will get the suggested price so you can set a limit order and be able to profit from the trade even when you're not in front of your computer. That's right, it's that simple. We do all the work. You just press the buy and the sell button. That's it. Simplify your trading so you can enjoy the life you deserve. Find the link somewhere around this video. Click take action so that you will be able to say this.
I made a killing in the market today.